Let us get on this yellow bus and trust our driver, Ayesha Harruna Attah, to take us straight to Salaga and its 100 wells. Aminah, a beautiful escapist, lives an idyllic life in the village of Botu. She's a wishful thinker who loves to do things with her hands. As the daughter of the head of Botu, who is a shoemaker, Aminah always envisions the life of traveling around on a horse or a camel with a sack full of shoes just like her father. When the girls in Botu are conspiring and doing all they can to become the 21st wife of the Madugu, the majestic man in charge of thousands of travelers who frequent the towns in caravans, Aminah doesn't share their admiration. For her, making something with one hand and traveling far to sell it is her ambition till the day the horsemen who scare off the caravansary and raise everything to the ground invade her village and force her on a journey that will turn her from a daydreamer into a resilient woman. Wurche, on the other hand, is the willful daughter of a chief who is desperate to play an important role in her father's fort at Salaga Pengbe, where infighting among her people threatened to leave the region exposed to powers much larger than themselves. Salaga Pengbe are the twin towns where Pengbe is restricted to the royals and Salaga is for everybody else. It is a home to the Moses, the Yorubas, Hausas, Dagombes, among others. From Wurche's simple description, it is like the soup her grandmother often cooks, which bubbles with meats and fish of all types. Salaga is the capital of the East Gonja district in the northern region of Ghana, and it used to be the biggest trading center in northern Ghana. In Salaga, everything was for sale. The title, 100 Wells of Salaga, is one of the powerful tools employed by the author to explore this pivotal era in Ghana's history. Whenever you hear of a well, what comes to mind is water, which translates to mean life. However, the wells in this story connote a different meaning. The wells in Salaga symbolize objectification. They represent how humans in that era were reduced to mere objects in the marketplace. When men, women, girls and boys have been captured from their homes, rounded up and roped one to the other at the waist, and walked for weeks and months, covered in dust and smelling because they probably had not taken a single bath while they journeyed. The Salaga well was the place where they were eventually perceived as dirty products that need to be washed, cleaned and polished in order to qualify to be auctioned off in the market to interested buyers. This Salaga slave market is where the lives of Aminah, the victim of this slave trade, and Wurche, a benefactor of the slave trade, converge in a tumultuous meeting that takes them from mistress and slave to unlikely allies. Through the lenses of these two memorable women, Aminah and Wurche, the author explores intra-African slave trade, which is rarely mentioned whenever the topic of slave trade is discussed. Human trade was no different from that of cattle or kola nuts. With the use of characterization, setting, mood, tone, language, and other literary techniques, the author tells this chronicle of the history of Ghana, which is hardly mentioned through the general subjects of power and gender dynamics, identity and survival, cultural displacement, love and marriage, resilience, and freedom. The narrative explores how power is contested through the lens of Wurche. As the royal woman, she has access to influence, yet remains limited by societal expectations. Her choices challenge the norm of her time, portraying the complex dynamics of gender and authority. Aminah's journey depicts how individuals struggle to retain their humanity and sense of self in dehumanizing situations. Her ability to maintain her dignity in the face of despair highlights the resilience of the human spirit. The novel highlights the psychological and emotional effects of being uprooted from one's community. Aminah's enslavement represents the displacement suffered by many, with Salaga symbolizing the crossroads of lives and history permanently altered. In the novel, marriage is portrayed not as a union of love, but as a tool for merging power and forming alliances. Wurche is married to a royal ally, reflects the political utility of marriage. While she desires freedom, societal expectations force her to put duty above personal choice. Her story shows how women were often trapped in systems that used marriage as leverage in political games. Here we see endurance and struggle. The resilience of the human spirit is the core of Aminah's journey. Despite being uprooted from her family and subjected to unthinkable suffering, she retains her sense of self and determination to survive. Her strength highlights how individuals navigate and endure even the harshest realities. Also, we see the complexity of Wurche's resilience. She demonstrates resilience not only by enduring her circumstances, but also by actively seeking to change them. Her political engagement, emotional struggles, and moments of rebellion show her determination to carve out a space for herself in a male-dominated world. The theme of freedom in the Hundred Wells of Salaga is many-sided, encompassing physical liberation, emotional resilience, and the pursuit of independence. Through Aminah, the novel reveals the devastating impacts of enslavement, while celebrating the enduring power of memory and identity as acts of resistance. Through Wurche, Atta highlights the struggles of women in patriarchal societies. The novel serves as a touching reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring quest for liberation across history. If you want a book that takes you through a roller coaster of emotions, including anticipation, anxiety, fear, jealousy, and disappointment, Hundred Wells of Salaga by Ayesha Harruna Attah is the book you should consider. I assure you that it is worth all the hype. You can go ahead and add it to your to-be-read list. Thank you for watching. Midase.